Hi guys, it's been a while. I think it's been like 11 days since my last tutorial. The reason being I just couldn't seem to get anything together. Everything I tried was like I had so many ideas running through my head and I just couldn't seem to get it to work, so to speak. But I finally got my ideas all together, so I'm going to show you this one today. Now, my original intention was to do a red fire opal, and while it is reminiscent of that, it's not exactly like that. But I didn't want to try again because I was happy with the result. Even though it's not exactly what I was going for, I still loved the look of it, so I'm just going to stick with what I did, but I'm not going to assign it to a specific stone name. You can if you want to, obviously, because it does look stone like. So what I've got here is some white Premo translucent, and I've got 6 equal-ish strips, and these are all rolled fairly thin onto a number 6, 9 being the thickest setting, the thinnest setting, and 0 being the thickest setting on my Atlas 150. So I've got 6 strips of that, and I've also got some Premo Sunset Pearl, and this is rolled out a little bit thinner than the translucent onto a number 7, but that's going to just go to one side for the minute. Obviously you'll need cutters. I'm using all mine as usual from Oh Joy Creations. These are the ones I'm going to go with today, and this is a new to me one. I don't know if it's a new to her store, and I think it fell out with me because it just jumped on the floor and now I can't find it. Oh well, I'll have to look for that later. I don't know where it went, guys. It just kind of flew off. Where did you go? I'll look for it later. I don't want to be accused of wittering too much again, but that's me. I witter. Don't like it, don't watch. Just another little dig there, guys. You know I have to get at least one in because I get at least one snarky comment daily. Right, so that's the clay and the cutters. One's disappeared. And I'm also going to be using these, what they call Mica flakes. Now, somebody gave me these, but I'm pretty sure you could find them on Amazon. If I find some, I'll list it in my Amazon storefront, but they're just, you know, little flaky things. I think, do they call them Mylar flakes? It says Mica flakes on there, but that's what they are. You'll also need some liquid translucent clay, and I'm using this Stardust Mica's copper sparkle mica powder. That's listed in my Amazon. And I've also got several different colours of metal leaf. Now I got a whole set of these, and I think it came in 20 colours, so I've just picked out the colours I want. Unfortunately they're not labelled. They haven't labelled the colours, so I'm just going to have to describe them as best as I can. But this one's like a dark, almost like an aubergine colour, I guess. And then I've got a darkish purple one, and then a really nice red, black, copper, and then this one, I guess it's kind of like a bit of a rose gold. But they're the colours I'm going with, and like I say, it came in a set of 20, and they are mega sparkly. I really like them. Alright, so this is going to get messy, heads up. Some people don't like messy, but that's the nature of the game when it comes to this kind of technique. Right, so the first piece of clay then, I'm going to just unstick it from its tile a little bit and grab my copper luscious mica powder, and I'm just going to fairly liberally, you know, just brush it on there, tap it on there, and then blend it into the clay. It's not getting mixed in, it's just going to stay on the surface. So that's that first piece, simple as that. Now this is like my third attempt at doing this now. Well, this is the tutorial obviously, and I've tried it 2 times before. I'm not being overly specific about what colours go where. It's all going to get formed into a stack, so it's not really that big of a deal. But what you're going to need to do is get your liquid clay and make sure it is translucent, guys. just a little smear over this piece, because otherwise it's not going to stick to that mica. So you do need that for some glue, to act like glue. But because it's translucent, it's not going to show up any. So just cover your next strip, flip it over and place it over the top of the one with the copper mica powder. Give it a little press. And then I'm going to grab a couple of my colours, and I'm going to start with the red and the black. Like I say, it's not overly important that you do it, you know, exactly the same as this. You can mix and match the colours, I guess. But I do want more of this red, if I can actually get some out, because these little jars are too little for my big fingers. Let me just see if I can find some tweezers. Might help. You know, and just see how sparkly it is. It's really sparkly stuff, and it's like really fine as well. It's almost like a different texture to the standard gold and silver that I use. It's almost like it's been shredded or something. Okay, so I'm being fairly liberal at this point with this colour, because this is the colour that I want to stand out. Hence why I called it Molten Flame, as you saw on the title. Molten Flame, because it almost looks like liquid fire. Could even call it liquid fire. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of this black. And again, this is so shiny, and you get quite, even though it's small jars, you get quite a lot because they've really crammed it in there. And I'm just going to kind of, you know, drop that over here and there. I don't want too much of the black, just a little touch. Right, and this is where it gets messy, because this stuff does float. So I'm not going to worry about keep cleaning it up, guys, because it's going to get messier as we go along. Then you need to get your next strip of trans, and again, because we've got this metal leaf on there, we need to make sure the pieces stick together, and clay doesn't like to stick to mica powders or metal leaf, so we need this to help it. Okay, so that's going to go on next. Of course, flip it over, sticky side down, place it on top of that, give it a little press, and then we're going to get some more colours, and I'm going to go with the I'm going to go with red again. Actually, I want red to be kind of all through it, so let's just go with these purplish colours as well, and just dot it around. This stuff is extra floaty, extra messy. Oops. And now I've got bits all on the tile as well, but oh well. Just dab it on there. Let's get a little bit of this other purple. Actually, I don't think I'm going to add red to this one. I've changed my mind. I'm just going to do the purples on this one, guys. I'm just thinking back to the last one I did, and I think that's what I did. So I want to try and get it as close as I can to my last one that I did. But again, it's not overly important if you don't do the colours in exactly the same order, or, you know, combination. Maybe just a tad more, because the purple does look gorgeous actually coming through in the final piece. Okay, and then same thing again, get your next strip. This is really easy, guys, but I tell you what, I personally think the results are stunning on this, because I just love sparkly stuff anyway, and it just speaks to me. So a little bit more liquid clay, smear it on there, For the next slice, flip it over, sticky side down, put it on top of that. And there we go. Right, now for this one I'm going to bring back some more of the red, and I think I'm just going to do red only again on this. Well, not only. I didn't do only last time, I added black, so I'm just going to go red only on this one. You know what I mean. Just again, just dot it around, maybe not quite as much as the last red one that I did. But I just want to make sure it's dispersed through the whole piece. So basically, in other words, you're making red the prominent colour, or predominant colour. And the other ones, little peaks of it. Next piece, and don't worry if you get different colours on there because it does stick to your fingers, no biggie. A little bit more liquid clay. Somebody asked me if I would please edit my videos because they go on for too long, because I witter too much. No, is my answer to that. I'm not editing them. I don't know what it is with people that are so entitled that they think I have to make my videos exactly to their liking, guys. Seriously. I'll say it again, just for those who didn't hear the first time I said it or the second time I said it. I try and cater to everybody, and that includes beginners. Beginners need to see everything step by step. If you're more advanced in the field, then you know where the fast forward button is. Honestly, don't be so selfish. This, you know, my videos, I want to reach as many different levels as I can. My videos aren't that complicated anyway, but you know, not everybody knows what to do because they're beginners. So, you know, I'm not editing anything. My videos are what they are. What you see is what you get. I don't edit anything out. I don't even edit out my screw-ups. I leave them in. And I leave them in because I want people to be able to see, hey, you're not alone if it goes wrong, but there is a way to fix it 99% of the time. And if I talk too much, again, sorry not sorry, I like to explain exactly what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and I want the beginners to be able to understand completely what's going on. So, you know, you're entitled to your opinions, but unfortunately they're not going to change how I do things. So I'm just throwing that out there, guys, because I don't want anybody to feel left out. That's honestly how I feel. I don't want to be skimping over or skipping over details that need to be addressed or said for those that don't know. And I know I'm going on, but I'm just emphasising that point. Okay? Alright, last strip then. We've got one more strip, one more little bit of liquid clay. On this final piece of trans. Just give it a good old smear and pop it on top. But then I also want to add a little bit more of that copper mica powder. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of that on this top sheet. And you know, it's really as simple as that. This is so simple, guys. And honestly, I think most techniques are fairly simple, other than complex canes, which I can't do. But you know, in general terms, every little, you know, these little techniques are pretty straightforward. What's difficult is, or a little bit more complicated, is trying to work out which techniques to use to get the desired look. And that's why, you know, you've got people that do tutorials and you've got people that watch tutorials. It's really that straightforward. Are my pieces complicated? No, not at all. But anyway, I'm just rambling. So I am going to clean up just a little bit, not overly, because it's still going to get a little messy, guys. But just a little bit. Now, so we've got all our, I'm trying to think whether to cover this whole bit or, yeah. So I've got this last piece here, that's Sunset Pearl, Premo Sunset Pearl, and I'm just going to lay that on the top. That's the final sheet of clay, and this is rolled onto a number 7 like I already said, so it's fairly thin. You don't want a thick piece of clay on the top. Now I went with the Sunset Pearl. You don't have to. You could go with a different, you know, a ruby red of some kind, I don't know, but I really liked how it looked with this particular colour. Alright, so just put that on there. Put that on there. Put that on there. Not quite sure what that accent is, and I don't know where it came from. Alright, so we've got our stack, and it's, you know, a long thin one. But what we're going to do next is cut it in half. And I'm going to take my blade, blunt side, and I'm going to do some cuts through it, and I'm hoping this is going to give it a little bit of a fractured look, because when you've got this darker colour on top of translucent and you're using the blunt side down, you're pushing that colour through the stack, and I'm hoping it's going to give it a little bit of a fractured look. And then I'm just going to stack that on top of there like that. At this point I'm going to give it a little bit of a roll, which I probably should have done in the first place, but not to worry. Just give it a little bit of a roll, make sure it's sticking together. And I'm just going to squash it into more of a block at this point. So we're condensing it a little bit. Seems to be a lot of air under this piece. I think it's because it's not stuck completely at this point. It'll be fine. If you do get air bubbles, guys, all you've got to do is take your blade and just cut through the clay and then press it back down. You know, just to release that air out of there. But we're going to play with this a little bit more, so I'm not too bothered. Okay. I think I'm air free now. Blade again, blunt side down, and again I'm just going to push some random cuts through the stack. You can make them, you know, as far apart as you want. You can go in different directions. It's all just to add a little bit extra something to the stack. And I'm going to give it a roll just to close those cuts up a little bit. And I'm just going to try and condense it a little bit more. And then I'm going to cut in half one more time and restack. And that's it. So you've got these lovely lines of colour coming through. It just, I love it. I love it, love it. So yeah, the last 10 days or whatever it's been, I've just, I don't know if it's me or, well, it is me. It's almost like I've got so many ideas, I don't know where to start. So I think, well, I'll just pluck one out of my head and go with it. And then it's like, nah, it's okay, but I'm going to try this idea instead. And then that one kind of goes out of the window. And I was like backwards and forwards, and my head just got so messy. I was like, do you know what? I just need to stop, take my time, take a break and then focus on one idea at a time. So that's what I eventually did, but it's taken me 10 days to, you know, work it out and get it to how I like it. Alright, so that's the stack. That's it, and that's all you need to do to it. So you're layering up translucent clay, adding your inclusions, your you know, your mica powders, etc., and your foils or your metal leaf. That's really all there is to it, guys. And then you're doing your little cuts to get some fractures. Okay, so you can do this one of 3 ways actually. You can just turn it on its side and take slices if you want to, or you can take little thin slices, which is probably what I'm going to do. But you could also use a mould, and that gives it a little bit of an extra depth. I'm probably not going to do that. I will show you one that I did in a mould so you can see the difference, because I don't want to talk moulds too much, because the guy that made these moulds, he's out of business right now. He's based in Russia and his shop is not open, so I don't want to get your hopes up where moulds are concerned, but I will show you one. Right, and you're also going to need some backing clay, and I am just going to back straight onto some translucent, which I did not do yet. So I'm just going to take a chunk of that and go and condition it and roll it out. Got my translucent rolled out, and we need a sharp blade, and I'm trying to find the one, there it is, that I want to use, because this is my sharper one and it's a little more flexible. So let's get our block then. Just move this out of the way a little bit more so I've got room. Okay, so like I say, you could do it where you turn it on its side and cut a slice, and that could just be a piece all on its own. So I might do that, or you can put them in moulds, which I will show you a piece that I did in a mould, or you can do it this way where you just take little very, very thin slithers, and you're going to end up with pieces like this. Right, I'll bring this back over now so you can actually see, and just lay it on your backing sheet like that. Now if you're not comfortable with doing the extra thin slices like this, then you can just do, you know, cut down and take a whole slice like that. It's entirely up to you. Ooh, 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 ooh. There's some gorgeous pieces coming out of this one. Even if I do say so myself. I'm excited, guys. This looks divine. Oh my gosh. Oh, do you know what? I've got to this stage in the block and I just love these little... I'm not even sure how that happened, to be honest, because I didn't impress anything in other than my blade. But it's almost got like these little pockets of translucent. That looks so freaking cool. I'm going to flip this on its side, and I am just going to make that as one slice because I just love that. Now the thing with making this kind of thing, you do get a bit of a surprise each. Oh, looks cool that side as well though. Dang. Oh, I don't know now. Either way, I'm keeping that one slice to one side because it looks really nice. I love it. And anyway, I went off at a tangent there. You never really know 100% what you're going to get. I mean, yes, I did everything exactly the same as I did in my other 2 tries. Is it going to look exactly the same? Most likely not, but that's the fun of it. And as long as it still looks gorgeous, which I do believe this will, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter to me that it didn't turn out exactly like a red fire opal. I could have continued to play around with it and got it, you know, closer to that, but I thought no, I really like how it looks now, so I'm going to leave it that way. So that's all I'm doing, is taking some slices, just shaving some thin slices off the stack and placing it wherever you see fit on your backing sheet, like so. And I just love all those different colours poking through. Even the black just adds something to it. I just love it. I just love it. A few more pieces. Just might as well just fill up, you know, enough of the sheet to get at least 2 pendants out of it, 2 or 3 pendants out of it, and some earrings. Oh, do you know what? I think this is actually going to turn out nicer than my last batch, which is a miracle because it's usually the other way around. Oh, I'm loving this, guys. See, now we're getting to... I'm not so sure about that piece, but I'll still use it. And we're running out of backing clay now, so I think that will be my last slice. Just pop that up there. And this, I could easily roll out another piece of translucent clay and just turn that into a piece as is. And I've also still got this piece, which I'm undecided because it looks cool both sides. I'm just going to give it a quick roll to see. Oh, I don't know. Nice. Nice. It could be a double-sided pendant. That's what it will be. Alright, so I've got my slab now. I'm going to grab some paper. And I'm going to grab my steel soap, as they're called. Again, this is listed in my Amazon storefront. And I'm just going to burnish, burnish, burnish. Actually, I think I'm just going to give it a quick roll first, just to help with the levelling out process, and then I'll burnish. Don't worry if little bits come away like that, it's no biggie. These pieces are going to get resined. And just a heads up, because I know I don't always show me resining my pieces. There are a few videos where I do, but for the most part I don't. So just for those who wonder, although everything is listed in my Amazon storefront and what's listed as UV resin, I don't use the 2-part epoxy resin. I'm highly allergic to it. I'm also allergic to UV resin, but as long as I keep my hands covered when I'm using it, I'm okay. It's if I get it on my skin, then I get what they call contact dermatitis, but that's another story. I just wanted to let you know and just to confirm that I do actually use UV resin. In fact, I'll just grab it. And I use this one, J. Diction UV resin, hard type. I've changed resins, you know, here and there. But I've actually gone back to that one because it's my absolute favourite. I can't get any kind of resin on me, and the epoxy resin is just, oh no, I can't use it at all. So that's just a little bit of info, and again, you know, everything is listed in my Amazon storefront. And a steel soap is used to what we call burnish. For those of you that don't know, this is called burnishing, and all you're doing is just running some paper, running a steel soap over some paper, and it just helps to smooth out the clay and blend in any seams, and it also helps remove any blemishes. So when you feel the clay, everything's nice and smooth and flush. We don't want any raised areas. So that's what I'm doing, and we call it burnishing, because again, a few people have asked exactly what I'm doing when I do this. But there we go. Alright, so I think that's good, but there's a little bit raised there, so I'm just going to use my roller on that bit just to level it out. Just again a little bit there. And I think we're good. Okay, So there's that. Now the other thing I do is I tend to bake on paper. I'm just going over a few basic points in this video, guys, just to help out those who aren't sure. I just use regular, you know, printing paper, copier paper, whatever you call it, to bake on. And the reason I do that is you can bake on a tile. There's no rule to say you can't, but often, well, most times, you do that, you will get a shiny back. Now, if you don't want the shiny back, then bake on paper. However, having said that, this piece is going to get resin, so it doesn't matter that much. Paper or a tile makes no difference really if you're going to resin. If you're sanding and buffing, I would recommend baking on the paper, and then you put it on a sheet, a cookie sheet, and bake it in your oven. I use my regular oven. Some people use toaster ovens. I personally don't like them, but that's just my preference. I think you have to be, they're a little bit more temperamental, but you know, plenty of people do use them. They've worked out how their oven operates, so to speak, and you know, get the temperature regulated, that kind of thing. Alright, so I'm going to just get my shapes now. I'm just going to cut out a few shapes. And which was the other one I was going to do? There was this one. I picked another one out. What did I do with it? I can't even remember which one it was, guys. Oh well, not to worry. I'll just cut out this one for now. So I'm just going to find a nice spot. I'm going to go right here for that one. Now that's another thing you can do when you've got a slab like this. You can, you know, really kind of move your cutter over to decide what looks good, and particularly what looks good for that particular shape as well. That's what I tend to do. I don't just randomly go boop boop boop. You can do that, but I like to see what's the heart going to look like. What's this going to look like if I put it there, or will it look better if I put it there? Just play around. And I feel like I've talked for England today, but that's what I do. So there's that one. Guys, what was the other cutter that I got? I can't remember which one it was, unless I go and look at the beginning of the video, which obviously I can't do that at this point without cutting you off. So, whatever. Now, the other thing I like to do as well, and it's not, you know, a must or anything, but like this has got a little bit of the trans with nothing on it. I do actually like just to leave a little, just a tiny little peep of the translucent with nothing on it. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. Oh yeah, I know which one it was. It was the one that fell on the floor. I'm just going to go and get it, guys. I'll be back. You see how my brain works? My memory is so bad. I didn't even... Why did my camera move? I couldn't even work out where this cutter was. I couldn't even remember which one it was. It's like, yep, the one that fell on the floor. So I'm going to use this one. So I've got two so far. I'm just going to see where I think it looks best. I think I'm liking it just there actually, so I'm going to put that there. I'm going to add just the tiniest peak of translucent. Not add, leave a little bit showing. So there's that one. And I think that's all I'll do on camera. I'm going to play with these two pieces that I got left over, just because I love this slice so much. So I will do something with those and I will show you. And I've also got all this left, so I probably will cut some earrings out. I just don't know what shapes yet, so for now, just for camera purposes, I'm going to do... I don't really want to lift this actually. Be careful with it. Okay, so I've still got all this left to play with, so I will make something else with that. but these are the pieces for the camera. Alright, so you just need to gently shimmy your blade underneath to lift it, and that's piece number 1. Just put that on the paper, shimmy underneath, go slow, because if you go too quick you have a tendency to pull away some of the clay from the back, and it just ends up sticking to the table. And there's that piece, pre-baked. It's going to look different once it's baked. And then this one, I think this one's scrummylicious. That's that one. Now the other thing I like to do, for those of you that know me, know my channel, whatever, I always like to give my pieces a little bit of a wipe down, just to clean off any dirty spots or fingerprints. And I use what they call isopropyl alcohol. You can get it from Walgreens, and I just use a wet wipe, dip it in the alcohol, and just run it over my pieces like this. It just smooths them out, gets rid of any crumblies, or there is a little bit sticking out on that one, so I'm just going to get my blade for that, and it's just a little bit of foil sticking out. But I just like to do that just to clean my pieces up, like so. Just means, they look nicer when they're baked, less sanding to worry about. I just think it's all important to give your pieces a nice finish to them. It doesn't look good if you don't sand them, in my opinion. You don't need to leave little rough edges on them. You don't need to be sanding for an hour a piece. It takes a few minutes, but it just gives that overall better finished look, in my opinion. So they're the pieces that are going in the oven. I will play around with my leftover pieces here, and I will be back. Okay, they've been baked. They have been sanded on the edges and a little bit of a buff, so they're lovely and smooth. Resined and glittered the back. I have a video on how I do that. I will leave a link. And so there's the heart one. I've not decided what kind of chain I'm going to use yet, but at least I've got the pinch bail in. So that's the heart one. So pretty. And I just love the little flecks of black in it as well. So there's that one that I did on camera. The other one I did on camera was this one. Again, same thing. Just added a pinch bail, resined front, resin and glitter on the back, sanded and buffed on the edges, and that's that one. Try and get it closer. That's that one. And then the other one I did, and I absolutely love this one, partly because I love the shape, but there's that one. And it's really sparkly. Same thing on the back. And then, oh, that other one that I did where I couldn't decide which I like best, they look nice on both sides, that's this one here. And I love how this one came out as well. And I just resined front and back on that one, so it's got a nice pattern on both sides. That's that one. So I've got a ton of these pieces now. And then here's another one that I did. I've not finished this one, but just the front at the moment. There's that one. And then I did some earrings, but these aren't finished either. These are gorgeous. So there's those. And then I did another pair of earrings which I have finished, and they're resined and glittered on the back. Some little hoops, and I added these little heart cubic zirconia heart things. They're listed in my Amazon. That's these ones. Again, I just love them. And this one got a nice chunk of the purple showing. And there's some lovely fractures in these as well. So there's the earrings. And then I said I was going to show you one that I did in a mould. and I forgot to grab it, and I don't know where it is, so I might not be able to show you. Yeah, I can't find it, guys. My desk is an absolute mess. Sorry, guys, I don't know where it is. But anyway, them's all the pieces. So, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you later.